So first of all, biggest question from me. Have you heard one of these words today? Transparency, traceability, dashboarding, screen AI, data lake. You did? Some of you maybe? Yes, yeah. There's at least one. Thank you. So we're taking a bit on ESG.
I also
you did so as well, basically? Thank you very much. So I think we don't have to introduce the panelists once again. You've heard from them already that they are as much passionate on sustainability and IT as I am. So let's maybe directly jump into the questions, and maybe I would like to start with you, Robert. So from a big first overall question topic, what's working, what is not? If you take your own experience building a tech-enabled company and tech-enabled transformational projects, what kind of technology is currently really helping companies from ESG reporting to transformation, and where do you see the biggest disconnect?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd start with the biggest disconnect. The biggest disconnect, in my opinion, is that, I think you mentioned it really well, that a lot of companies don't have their data in place. The systems are not working properly. Data is in silos. There are no interfaces, and that's a big gap and a big issue for the companies nowadays. Because overall, I would say, whenever you integrate your data, you use AI. AI can definitely help you to improve your bureaucracy, services and processes, but AI needs the data in the background, and I think we heard that right before in that session. And that's my biggest concern, that the companies out there don't manage that part. And once you have it in place, you can do a lot of things, and AI, for example, can really help you when you do some smart resource optimization, for example. But need the data as a fundament in place.
Absolutely. Or in other words, shit in means shit out, and if the data quality is not right, then...
Thank you very much. I had to say, to say that. Yeah.
I'm bold on that. So maybe, Katharina, over to you. You work with a lot of large-scale clients and all across the sectors and industries. What are, from your perspective, some common pain points that companies experience currently when implementing ESG software solutions? I mean, we're talking about different type of flavors and different type of providers out there, but is there maybe sometimes a bit too much of expectation, or are we getting everything we need?
I would say there's always too much of expectation, to be honest. Like a lot of clients, I mean, if they have a pitch from a software provider, of course, this is always like the best product ever. And to be honest, when they then work with it, there are pitfalls, and I did not see any sustainability software so far which really covers all CSRD reporting challenges so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much. And now from the large-scale clients, maybe let's move over to what we do at Hubprint, Christina. So the smaller companies we are supporting and startups and those surroundings, they mostly don't have the budget and not the resources which is maybe required for such kind of big-scale software solutions and ESG solutions. So from your perspective, how can digital tools still be enablers in that respect of transformational questions and in that context?
Thank you for the question. And I think what's a very good help for smaller companies are as well ESG tools, because they do not have these big systems what they need. They do not have so many different departments where you have the problem with data silos. So you can just start with something and say, okay, we look at what is the use case we have and what matters most for us. So you would focus on what is our ESG focus, what is the focus on our strategy, and then you start from there and you use a tool which can solve that problem. For example, you can start with the ESG readiness check or something, but then you go on and you see that you can implement that in your daily work.
Absolutely. I mean, and just now jumping in, one of the pictures you have seen on Robert's slides was from Davos at the World Economic Forum. We had been the pleasure joining that together, and there was the age of pragmatism. I think this is exactly what we are all talking about. It's not about big, fancy, high-level, whatever type of things. It's for, in particular, small, medium-sized companies, pragmatic solutions which we need to place.
We got an interesting question.
We got a question?
From the audience, because we skipped on your presentation and you were to answer the question, is technology the accelerator of the crisis or the solution? And I thought we could make it a speed talk answer, and everybody could answer this question. So maybe Robert,
We go through. That's one.
because he's closer to me, would you like to answer this question? What is technology for you, the accelerator of the crisis or the solution?
Well, it's both. But what answer?
Very short.
It's both.
It's both.
For me, it's also both. It depends what's the goal behind, and then it's both.
Mhm. Let's continue with you, please.
Well, I would rather say it's the solution. I think, like, done rightly, it's always a improvement and optimization. But what would you say?
And Rainer, what would have been your resume in your presentation?
Well, on the last slide, I would have said technology is neither nor. It's us making it that, and it's the decisions which we are taking, whether we put it into the one or in the other angle. And well, for sure, at the moment, in particular, AI is being used way too less thoughtful. So this is something which we have to make our minds, and I think we have to change towards responsible AI usage and to make it a way that it's not increasing and not speeding up.
Great. So I think this answer has been answered well. I'll
Thank
pull
you.
back.
And please keep going with questions if you have one. So let's get into round two. So to say technology, is it a friend or is it a friction? It goes quite well with what we've just had as a question, maybe to you, Katharina. So let's talk about the complexity of things. Let's talk about the idea ESG tools should simplify, should help, create transparency, but in reality, we do see a lot of, as we've already heard from Robert as well, fragmented data. We do see a huge amount of compliance pressure, changing compliance pressure. So Omnibus just now changed the whole thing again, and a lot of manual work. And that manual work is something where software, where tools should definitely help. But is it really creating more clarity from your perspective or getting more chaos created?
Most of our clients, due to the pressure to report first-year report, right, for Wave 1 clients, they did start with Excel spreadsheets, as I said. And this is because, first of all, they need to have a look, so where am I, status quo, and what are the processes, and so forth and so on. And still, like, technologies in the roadmap, however, to make an informed decision on which technology, which solution to select, how to implement it into the existing infrastructure, that needs time. If you want to do it right, you need to have a strategy, you need to have a roadmap. Even like if you just select one software, that does not solve all your problems or challenges. It will just help you with this like a kind of challenge which is at hand, but like you have to have a look on the complete process. Therefore, I would say that yeah, it is a good starting point to have like an overview and also use spreadsheets. It will help at the beginning. However, this cannot be the solution the next 3 years.
Absolutely agreed. And Christina, maybe again back to the small, medium-sized companies we're working mostly together with. A lot of them are still skeptical, and a lot of them do see that still as maybe a burden. What do you say to those companies? Are digital tools just another checkbox, or is it really helping, or just a greenwashing?
I think I understand the companies, bigger or smaller companies, that they're skeptical because it is a bit of an extra effort if you include ESG within your tools or in your criterias. However, if you have done that, it's what you do afterwards. So if you, as the other said as well, connect it to your strategic goals or your business decisions, let's say, for example, connecting ESG data to KPIs, then you can make smarter decisions and you can make sustainability more transparent, you can make it measurable, and also you can identify business risks and opportunities.
Right. So
May I make the problem a little bit bigger for a moment?
Please.
Because what we heard, I think, is right. And I mean, it's 2025. And I think somehow it's ridiculous that we were still discussing that even big corporates rely on Excel. I mean, it's the most successful business software in the world, probably. It's a database that has been used everywhere. But it's not about only now being compliant and get some ESG data together, but it's also about, in the future, real-time information from the production lines, from the machines, from my from my complete KPIs in my company, and this cannot be done with Excel. And when we're talking about a competitive advantage, we need to get rid of that. And it's not a problem of ESG.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So the problem is way bigger than the ESG data.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that builds the perfect bridge to my next question, which goes directly to you once again. I mean, the to me, biggest question is how to keep up the digital and the ESG journey and how to combine those two. So what would be an advice in short to just keep that business strategy and include ESG and digital into the same thing? So not just for compliance reasons or IT housekeeping reasons, but in a real way. What would be your advice?
Yeah, start with the small things that really show how profit can be produced, that you get a return on invest. I think a lot of companies start way too big, and they fail very early because it's way too big and it's far too complex for the status quo the companies are in. So my pro tip is start really small, but make it bigger every time. So work iterative, work in small steps, but always be successful. I think that's the most important part.
So a bit of salami tactics.
Yeah, you can make mistakes, but it's important to have clear why you do that. So yeah.
Again, the IT way: fail but fail fast.
Yeah.
And learn about. So
and this also works out for ESG. Yeah.
True, absolutely. Just a quick reminder to all of you: if you have questions which you would like to ask to Katharina, to Christina, to Robert, just please scan the QR code and get up with Mentimeter. We'll be bringing them up in a couple of minutes. Now, quickly jumping into the next round, getting from reporting to resilience. One of the words I would have started my own presentation with would have been to wipe out sustainability as a term and replace it by resilience, because this is what we have to focus. I mean, climate crisis, it is already here, it won't go. It is something which we will have to live with, and we need to get resilient. So maybe, Christina, let's maybe zoom out for a moment. Yes, for sure, reporting, important thing, but as we've heard already and discussed it, it's just the beginning. Now, the biggest question, what would you say to companies? What are the key ingredients that make digital tools really help building long-term resilience?
So I really like the topic resilience or also strategic foresight. So thank you for asking that question. So resilience means that companies can understand what happens in the future or maybe have future scenarios about that and then adapt to that early on. And therefore, if you have tools which support strategic foresight or risk management, this is, I think, a big asset. For example, you could have risk analytics tools who look at identifying risks in the environment or climate change. And also, if you can do that and implement it, you would be one step ahead of your competitors because you can have that as an opportunity to know already what lies ahead.
And thank you for that perspective. Future foresight brings me to you and in your role in particular with essentially what you do, being at the intersection of IT and sustainability, twin transformation. What is your perspective, Robert, in regard of AI, automation, platform, software, in future-proving the whole aspect, so resilience, building up on that?
Yeah, I'd like to catch up with that sovereignty topic we've heard before. Resilient companies from a data and digital perspective, they need to make sure that they can switch hyperscalers and other providers. So this is part of the resilience when it comes to data and digitalization, but also cybersecurity is a very important topic nowadays.
True.
And I think you can do a lot of proactive means. You can take them in place so that you don't get hacked. That's part of the resilient part. Because one time a hacker goes into your system, all production processes probably stand, and that's quite expensive. And on the other hand, it's yeah, that's it for my part.
Sorry for the interrupt. I think we are
no, all right.
Covering a bit of the QR code, so maybe now you're able to scan that better. Maybe getting over to you, Katharina, once again, the question which comes to my mind is, do you think that regulation is pushing companies towards that resilience, towards that transformation, or is it still reactive and we're trying to cover the needs and try to get away with that? And second part of that question, is technology maybe the enabler? Can that help to do something a bit more proactive?
I would say it depends. There are companies who do proactively drive ESG. However, most, I would say, are driven by the regulation. And I think technology is an enabler. However, we should have a look at the overall holistic approach. So it's not just technology, it's also people and processes. And only if done in combination correctly, and if sustainability, ESG, and the teams are not siloed, but they interact with other stakeholders, internal and external, especially with the IT department, then IT and technology can become an enabler and a real support for long-term value.
Absolutely. I fully agreed. So Desiree, do we have more questions, or did we cover the QR code too long? I don't know.
Yeah, I think one just came in. Oh, yes. I mean, that's like magic.
Wonderful
just
in
when you
time.
asked, it came in. So should sustainability become a permanent topic within our regular risk management process? Who feels the most urge to answer this?
I would say, like, of course, it also depends on the business model. But if you have production sites in Bangladesh, for example, or you are dependent on, I don't know, some crop in Brasilia, whatsoever, this definitely makes sense then to take it into account.
Maybe if I would like to proceed with, I would say not sustainability, but resilience should become that. And I mean, talking about risks, there is a lot of climate risks which will occur and which will even hit us. The other term which we've heard in Davos was not just the times and the age of pragmatism, but the age of bad surprises. And I think that describes it quite well. We have to be very much aware that a lot of things will happen without even knowing it up front and without predictions. So I think that's why it should be part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Christine.
I completely agree with what you said, and also it's not only the climate risk, it's also risks of what are the changes in society, what kind of ideas or what do they want from your company. So this is also a risk, like what you should take into account.
I mean, you just said that it's not pragmatic, it's blind. I think that goes in the same direction.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a time when we've been asked, we did digital transformation only before, and we've been asked, do you need a digital strategy in your company strategy? And I think that's also ridiculous because there's no digital strategy today anymore, as there's no sustainable strategy anymore. It's part of the company strategy. And if it's part of the company strategy and you want to grow with it, it should be part of the risks.
Correct.
Whatever term you use.
Yeah, correct. The term is not that much of importance.
I think
Further
I
questions?
have a follow-up question. Should the ESG transformation start at the tech companies businesses work with or at the tech companies businesses work with, or at the businesses themselves? So who's in charge?
Well,
who's the
if
driver?
I may have the honor to start, I would say due to the urgency and as most of the windows of opportunities are closing and most of the business opportunities are in front of us, they should start the same and not either or. My perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Robert, you have 50 cents?
It was probably my last sentence. I said, start designing impact.
Mm-hmm. Do it yourself.
No matter who you are,
Yes.
no matter how small, how
Yes.
big, how mid-sized your company is, in what industry you work, or what market you are, start now.
It goes to everyone. Yeah.
It goes to everyone.
Yeah.
from my
True.
opinion. Yeah.
True. Katharina, what do you think?
Yeah, same here. I think usually also technology providers start with a solution and then it's shaped by their clients. Because like real life is still something else than design, right?
Mm. And it has to fit real life.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So
You continue, and I have one for in a bit.
one for the end then.
Yes.
So let's maybe get into the final one tip, one hope, final question round, so to say. I would love to have a one-sentence answer of each and every single one of you. And the first question is, what's the one piece of advice you would like to give to a company before choosing a ESG software solution? I'd like to start with you, Katharina.
Easy, contact us, huh?
That's the one option. Christina?
I would say start with the people and ask what they are need in the company and then choose based on that.
Thank you. Robert?
Get an overview of your data and the overall company, all departments.
Perfect. And if I may, if you're not willing and able to work with a big consultancy, there are small ones out there as well. So next one. And again, one sentence, please. What gives you hope that technology can actually be the enabler to a more resilient and to a more sustainable world? Robert?
Well, I mainly focus on AI. AI really has great opportunities, but also great risks. But overall, I hope really that AI can help us solve many problems, find new materials, and helps us save energy. For example, reduce our CO2 footprint all over the world. So there are many things AI can deliver, and I hope this will work out well.
Thank you. Christina?
The next generation, like when I hear that there are universities who have programs on sustainability and IT, this is just amazing. And I think they will solve the problems, or I hope, or I believe in them.
Thank you. Katharina, what's your hope?
I think technology is a tool to reach a goal set by you. So I think it goes hand in hand, but without the people, there is no use of technology.
Maybe to just give it a flavor, in addition to what I do now, I used to be in collaboration responsibilities in big corporates, and this is what gives me the hope that we are, due to technology, are able working globally. We have a global issue, we need to solve it globally, and this is what we can do through technology, maybe in addition to what you said. We have another question, or
well, I really think we covered the QR code very bad, because there are a lot of questions coming in now, and I think this is very interesting. As we have been talking about, AI can be used for good or for bad. For every AI implemented at a wind energy company, there is one implemented at an oil company. How do we balance that? That is interesting.
Who would like a bold stand on that?
Yeah, it must be a bad idea to implement an AI at an oil company. We have an example where we reduced energy consumption at the pipeline by implementing AI means and optimized the pumping system. So it depends. And the thing is, I think Rainer mentioned it before, it's our choice where we use it. It's not industry A versus industry B. It's the choice we can make every day, and I agree, it's all about humans then.
Absolutely.
Again, it starts with the businesses themselves. Yeah.
And maybe just as an advice, choose wisely who you work for. It's up on you whether you give your workforce to a company who is drilling oil or the ones who are building up wind power. So this is something which you can do yourself. Without workforce, without you, there won't be anything.
Yeah, I have another one. Do you think ESG will ever be applicable for governments?
Katarina, maybe you.
I think that's the long-term goal on the whole EU Green Deal. Therefore, yes.
So you're hopeful that it will work out?
I think maybe we have to wait a little longer than expected, which is good because society and businesses have to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
And I think if it comes internally, it will be more like strong in the society in general.
Yeah.
And we have to wait a little bit longer, in particular in Germany. If you haven't seen the news, the first election round of the new chancellor did fail. So just saying.
Oh.
Right. Does anybody else want to talk about ESG and how applicable it is for governments? Christina or Robert?
I may add something.
Yes.
We have the first customers from that are public, and it's quite interesting. The first ones move, but in my dreams, I would say the government goes first. We don't see it at the moment in Germany. We don't see it in any other places, but that be the way to go. So governance goes first, and industries follow.
And it's crazy that's the other way around. What do you think? Why is that?
Well, it's complicated.
Are we faster? Are you faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be honest, if like there's a huge project from governance, suppliers already have to take care that they have like green and sustainable practices. So it's that they take care of it already, like at least for the suppliers.
Yeah.
Maybe not fast enough, but they do. Great.
It's getting there. Okay.
Good.
I think that was it from my side.
So that's for now. And so therefore, thank you, first of all, thank you, Robert, thank you, Katharina, thank you, Christina, for being here, having inspiring inputs. I am pretty much sure we all agree that it's not ESG tools which will magically fix the broken strategies. It's not a dashboard which will make people care. It's all about you. It's all about people. And as it is all about you, I think we can proceed with the next break, I guess, right, Desiree?
Yeah,
What's the next
yeah.
on the program?
Yeah, coming up, there's the lunch break with some more to eat and drink, and also the master classes. I think I have a slide if you go to the next one. I think we drew up, yeah. So, of course, I mean, the timing is not so bad anymore, thanks to Rainer skipping his keynote. So we are almost in time. So I'd say we'll say it's the master classes start at 1:45, 15 minutes later than we planned. And they are all upstairs in the networking area. You find the networking, the master classes. Please pick out your master class, join them. It's going to be really direct insight directly from the field. And then we'll be back here at 3 o'clock for the circular economy.
And again, you're same then down here, totally free. Pick up your food. We have amazing, amazing food, which you definitely will enjoy. Pick it, take it with you into one of the 3 rooms. You can't miss them. They're quite well seen. If you go upstairs, you will find them. 3 very much different topics. So the Google Developer Group conference in room 1, that's a close one. But room 2, storytelling from impact, from Konrad, who's sitting down here. He will have the first one. We have the Siemens guys on Green Digital Twin. They have a booth up there as well. And we have then finally AFB, Social and Green for refurbishment. That's 3 very much different topics, but I would really, really appreciate if you go up there, join them. It's smaller rooms. It's very much tiny, much more direct, and you can just get in touch and exchange with those guys. Thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the lunch break upstairs.
See you later. Thanks.